career. I mean, I've seen his films numerous times. I've studied them, from Breaking the Sound Barrier, right through, Passage to India. And so when he called me up, he asked me for a favor, and I couldn't believe David Lean's asking me for a favor. And he said, there's a book I read called Empire of the Sun that I fancy directing. Can you get me some information on who has the book? And so I made some phone calls and discovered that my good friend Terry Semmel, who was head of Warner Brothers, it was his project. And that there had actually been a screenplay written by Tom Stoppard. And, but there was a director assigned to the project. And so I had to call David Lean back, give him the bad news that it was unavailable. It was already spoken for. And then about 8, 9 months later, Terry Semmel called me and said, the director that we had on the project is no longer doing the film. Do you want to give it to your friend David Lean? So I called David back. I couldn't wait to get him on the telephone. I said, David, Empire of the Sun is available again. The script is done. It's free. I'm sending it to you. And David said, no, don't bother. He said, I spent 8, 9 months thinking about it, and there's other things I want to move on to, and plus the fact I think I'm too old to work with children. He said, you should do it. I said, no. He said, you should do this project. And he proceeded to talk me into directing this movie. And that's exactly how it happened.
In his third outing with Spielberg, Richard Dreyfuss starred in Always as ace forced fighting pilot Pete Sandich, who loses his life while piloting an aircraft over a raging fire.
How much fuel you got left?
Come on, I want to blow out this one tree, funny face.
Negative, Sandich. Get out of the sky.
The tale was based on A Guy Named Joe, a 1942 romance starring Spencer Tracy.
Oh, yes, you'll see. He'll crow, he'll fight, he'll fly, and then he'll die.
In 1991, Spielberg retold the story of Peter Pan in the film Hook, based on James M. Barrie's play and starring Dustin Hoffman and Robin Williams. In Hook, Peter Pan has grown up to be a cutthroat merger and acquisitions lawyer. As perfect a fit as it might have initially appeared for Spielberg's ability to tell wonderful stories about children, the film was not well received. Spielberg would take the cinema world by storm once again with the 1993 release of Jurassic Park, based on the Michael Crichton novel. The film brought a new meaning to the term computer graphics as dinosaurs easily intermingled with live actors. So successful was Jurassic Park that a sequel, Jurassic Park: The Lost World, was released in 1997. For The Lost World, Spielberg received the Rembrandt Award as Best Director.
Michael Crichton and I were in my office one day, and I was going to direct a script of his, somewhat about his own life, called ER. And we were developing ER as a movie, and I was working on that, and we were taking a break, and I said, so Michael, what else are you doing? What novels do you have in the pipeline? He says, well, I'm doing something that's kind of a big secret, and I love when they say it's a big secret. I spent the next hour trying to get Michael to tell me the secret, and he finally said, well, if you don't tell anybody, which I never did, he said, I'm writing a novel about dinosaurs and DNA. That's all he gave me. And I got it. I just sort of got it. And I said, you mean they're coming back? He said, yeah, they're coming back. And I said, please, let me be the first person to read the novel. And he did. He let me read the novel because he wouldn't sell it to me as a producer. He said, if you direct it, it's yours. If you guarantee you'll direct it, he sold. He gave it to me as a director. Universal bought the rights. And then the screenplay ER was pushed off into the wait and see box, and I made Jurassic Park. And the weird thing is, about a year later or so, we dusted ER off and sold it to NBC, and it became a television series. Oh, wow. Well, the biggest obstacle was how to do the dinosaurs. At first, I was going to do the dinosaurs the old Ray Harryhausen way, which is, stop motion, armature claymation figures, one frame at a time, the way King Kong and, the Sinbad movies were made. And I was willing to accept that because I had the greatest animator in the world working on Jurassic Park, a man named Phil Tippett, who was a genius at go motion, or stop motion as it was once known. And then Dennis Murin at ILM said, I'm working on something based on something that you guys actually started, which was the first CGI shot ever put in a movie, which was in a film I produced and Barry Levinson directed, called Young Sherlock Holmes, where this image of a stained glass knight jumps out of the stained glass window with a sword and accosts this priest. And he said, since Jim Cameron did Terminator and The Abyss with those miraculous CGI elements, I think I can create a complete CGI animal, a T-Rex, and any dinosaur you want, but give me a chance to do this. And Dennis went into the lab and began experimenting up there in Northern California, and came back one day and showed me for the first time the first test of a CGI animal, and it was phenomenal. And I think, you know, that the movie and all of my aspirations for it, you know, just sort of turned on a dime, and it became a different movie because of that.
It's a dinosaur. You did it. You crazy son of a bitch, you did it.
Stephen has a gift which many people don't talk about, which is doing voices, but he kept a megaphone with him, and through sequences when a dinosaur is supposed to be there but actually isn't there, he would do the sounds for us. And I tease him to this day about it, because that's one of my favorite memories on the movie, is I'd be in a specific moment and something's about to appear and I'm supposed to feel the utmost terror a human being can ever feel in their life, and I'd hear roar, roar in the background. But he was proud of those sounds.
There was something that I had a very strong feeling about in the book and in the script. There was a scene, you know, where the T-Rex attacks, and my character kind of does what the lawyer's character does. I also get horribly frightened and skitter out of the car and go away, and Sam Neill is left there and to save the kids. I said, geez, you know, I wish my character didn't have to do that. I wish, because we've already seen the lawyer do that, and my character is kind of cool and kind of da-da-da-da-da. Maybe I could do something particularly heroic there, even. What if and he said, I kind of described it, and then he said, well, show me on the day. And on the day, I kind of showed him, here it is. I was ready to act it all out, and he said, yeah, I like that better. Let's do that. So, in fact, and it's in the movie, I sort of see the dinosaur, and I get his attention. I use myself as a decoy, and I kind of sacrifice myself to get him away from Sam and the kids.
Hey, 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 hey! Ian, freeze! Get the kid!
The investors, I want all of them.
Yes, sir.
Fisher, Ishmael Fisher.
Ishmael.
Toshev,
One
Sharf.
moment, sir. I'm sorry, sir.
Come on, stay on. Sharf. The children. All the children.
Other steel. Thank you.
How many?
400? 450?
More.
Schindler's List would mark a major turning point in Spielberg's career. It was a project he waited 10 years to direct. It was a movie he felt he had to make to pay honor not only to Oskar Schindler, but to all those who lost their lives in the Holocaust. The film was difficult to watch because of its subject matter. But Spielberg's thoughtful and skillful direction brought to the screen the heart-pounding images of one of the world's greatest crimes against humanity in a way that made audiences respond to and understand the tragedy that had taken place. The year was 1993, the year Schindler's List took home the Academy Award for Best Picture and a well-deserved Oscar for its director. Stephen also was awarded a Golden Globe as Best Director, as well as the London Critics Circle Award as Director of the Year and the coveted Directors Guild Award for Outstanding Direction and the British Academy Award as Best Director.
Well, Schindler's List took me over a decade to do simply because I recognize its importance. I recognize also